Right, Dave, welcome to Deep Blue Swimming. We're here at Bath University. We're going to ask you just a few questions leading into the 2012 Olympic trials.
Yep.
How do you feel about the programme at Bath at the moment and the way it's developed under your leadership?
Well, we've been going here at Bath for about 3.5 years. To be honest, the first year was all about just coming to Bath and seeing what was here. I think we had 2 swimmers, that's all. And it was all about just getting equipment in, really getting staff in, and starting to set the process of the ITC up. And it was difficult with 2 swimmers, you know. It's not fun coming on full side and just having 2 swimmers to coach. I've always had big swimming groups, and that was a bit of a shock. Year 2 was more about getting some swimmers into the programme and just trying to fill, you know, get some kind of group dynamic here. And to be honest, the 3rd year is the first year that we've really been about performance and results. We had a great summer last year with 5 people at the World Championships. We got 3 gold medals at European Juniors, and we won World University Games with Jess Nichols. So it's been a slow process, but last season was our best by far, and things are really starting to go for us here at Bath. So I'm really pleased how it's gone.
On top of that, there's obviously 2012 summer coming up. No one's quite sure what's going to happen with the ITC and that, but as long as it continues, where do you feel it's going to progress to in the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, people always say that to build a good programme, it's an 8-year project. Like I say, we're still very early into it, 3 years in, and like I say, it was built for the first 2 years. And I hate to think it all came to an end after the first 4 years. I'm really excited about 2012 to 2016. I think that'll be our best time here at the ITCs, because like I say, we've had to build it slowly. And it's just starting to get going, and I'm really hungry for another 4 years.
But I'm guessing for me, as well as most coaches, you're very well known for your middle distance freestyle with Joe, obviously, at the last Olympics. Have you found that you've had a newfound respect from other coaches in terms of having a lot of breaststroke boys now and showing that versatility? Yeah,
I think me and Graham Anderson made a decision when we started here at Bath to not really direct the programme towards a certain area, because you get labelled as different types of coaches, but it's normally just the best swimmers that you've got. They're the ones that you've had success with, and all of a sudden you're that kind of coach. I mean, you do the best with whatever you've got, and I think we would like the programme here at Bath that caters for sprint training right up to distance or even open water training. We haven't had any of them yet, but I just like the idea of having a big group with all different areas that we specialise in. And obviously, what we've got here at the moment is we've got 3 world-class breaststrokers, all sitting in the top 12 in the world, and it's a stroke that when I was middle distance type swimming, it was a stroke that never really done much of, and I've certainly learned a lot about it in the last few years, and I love the stroke. It's a really interesting stroke, and a lot of breaststrokers here, but a lot of other people as well. So
in terms of your coaching, obviously we all have our influences. Who have been yours in coaching?
Yeah, I think from 2001 to 2007 we had Bill Sweetenham as an NPD, and it was at the point where I'd been coaching for about 10 or 11 years, giving it my best, and then Bill arrived on the scene, and them 6 or 7 years with Bill were, as all the coaches would know, probably the biggest turnaround that I've ever faced regarding somebody having an influence on my career. He was tough, and he was ruthless, and he was hard, but he certainly made me the coach I am today, and they were great years in swimming. They were really tough and really hard, and I'm sure the swimmers would say that about Bill as well. But we learned so much from Bill Sweetenham, and the legacy that goes on now within British swimming, he had a very much lot to do with, and so he was a big influence on me.
Is there any kind of one kind of thing that he said that stood out with you that kind of you'd tell any coach now?
Yeah, I actually remember one thing he did say to us, because I was at a small programme, and I had 24 swimmers in 3 lanes, and I had some good swimmers in there, and some who were just swimmers, and in a big mix. And when Bill was asking me maybe to think about going to other places, to national centres or to work with British swimming, he just always said, David, go where you think things could happen. Go try and coach where you think you're going to get the best out of it. And opportunities like this in a national centre you can't turn them things down, because that's where the opportunities probably are. So he just said go where the opportunities will be to coach, and that's what I've done.
And how would you now describe your coaching style and philosophy?
Yeah, I think my coaching style is quite laid back, and I think it's I'm a bit of a people's person. I think people can talk to me as a coach, and I haven't got a problem with, you know, talking to any swimmer at any time. I think they know when they've got to be switched on, and they know when they can relax with me, and I think that's a good thing. It doesn't want to be too much of one or the other. You know, if it's a bit soft, you know, things can happen. If it's a bit strict, it's a bit too much for somebody. So my swimmers know when to be switched on and know when they can relax. So I think that's a good style.
Yeah, one of the things that even I've found in coaching is the level of quality that the kids have on kick.
Yeah.
And I now put quite a lot of importance on it. Do you put a lot of importance on your kick? And if you do you have a kind of example set that you'd like to do with yours?
Yeah, I know what you mean about kick, because when I swam, my kick was awful, and I didn't do much of it. And we've done a lot of just like easy kick, you know, like just lying on your board and kicking easy. And one of the decisions I made a few years ago was when we do kick, it's always specific. So it's either max kick, or it's speed kick, or it's underwater kick. I don't do a lot of just easy kick, social kick. Maybe it's in the swim down the last 200 metres, they're quite welcome to get the ball and kick. But every time we do kick, there'll be a reason for it. It's either to improve speed or improve max kick, or we do a lot of underwater kick now. You know, 25s, 30s, 35s, up to 50s, because it's so important in swimming now. So all the kick that we do is really specific.
Where do you stand on the volume versus quantity, and the balance, the mix between the two?
Yeah, it is a funny one, because, you know, I was always, when you're saying going back to being a middle distance coach, I was always 65,000 a week, and because that's what needed to be done. I still believe that if you're a middle distance freestyler. What I've done here at Bath, because I've got 200 metre swimmers, really, I've just taken the volume down a little bit, and the intensity has gone up. But you know, if I had a real distance girl come into the programme, I would still be back up there on 60 to 70. It has to be done. There's no easy ways. I think there's a little bit room in coaching now to just coach a little bit smarter in some areas. So it's not always distance, it's very specific, but there's no way you can get out of doing them metres in distance events. So as soon as one walks through the door, we'll be back to 70,000 a week for that grade.
We've obviously all heard the story of how good Goddard was between the walls.
Yes.
But underwater, in comparison, like we all know, the Americans are the best in the world. Do you think we're bridging the gap between us and them? And if so, how are we doing that now? Yeah,
I mean, one of the initiatives that British Women set up about 18 months to 2 years ago was a start and turn project within the ITCs, and we had to come up with some kind of programme that's going to enhance our starts and turns within each programme, and that will be judged on from Commonwealths to Europeans to Worlds. And we've just got a letter the other day to say that we've won that initiative, and we get £5,000 for winning that. And it just made everybody aware of different things that we can do to help kicking off the walls. Now, we came up with a lot of dry land exercises that enhance our programme in the pool. So they do some in the pool, get out and do a lot of land activation stuff that's going to help you in the pool. Other ITCs went down the route of getting diving coaches in and learning how to hold the breath and for longer and smoother and things like that. So we're all aware of it. I think we are closing the gap a little bit. But the Americans, because a lot of them swim 25 yards, and people say, oh, it's always got to be long course. But I think they're really on tip-top form on turns, because a lot of them swim short course yards. And that's something we lack here.
If you could coach any swimmer in the world from any era, who would it be and why?
I mean, I've always liked watching individual medley events. I think that's a great swimmer is somebody who can put all four strokes together. Obviously, the last 18 months, you know, Lochtey's been absolutely on fire in them events. I like the way that he's so laid back going into his racing, but then really turns it on in the pool. I like the way that out of season, you know, he's very up and down. He can be awful at meets, but he accepts that, and it's no big deal. And I think a lot of people can learn from that. Not going to every weekend where you think, oh, it's the big one. He just swims, he does what he can, and he always produces at the main event. And I think that's a great character to the lad. Dead relaxed, but always does the job in the pool. So, I mean, somebody like him with his talent, I think would be that would be a dream to coach someone like that. So somebody who probably does the 400 IM, yeah.
And do you have any advice for young coaches just starting out?
Advice, you know, I would say, if you want to get into coaching properly, you need to have a real passion for it. It's certainly not a job that you can just go into and you know, pick your check up at the end of the week and just get through it. It's not that sort of. You could do it, but the swimmers would know that. I think you've got to have a real passion for it, and it's tough and it's hard, and it's early mornings and it's weekends and it's a tough whole game. But you've got to enjoy it and have a real passion for what you're doing. And if you do, you'll get somewhere in coaching. Definitely.
Well, thanks very much from Deep Blue Swimming, and good luck at the 2012 trials.
Thank you very much. No problem.
Cheers,
man.